Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Hi, everybody. I'm Frankie Bellucci. I'm with Lee Story. Lee is running for city council in Fairway, Kansas. And we're going to go through the same interview I typically go through, but it's going to shift a little bit because we're going to be talking more about civic and political issues. Well, not issues. Anyway, we're going to wing it and give it our best shot. Lee and I have been friends, what?
Almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years. And I've done business with him. We've run business. We're both entrepreneurs. Why don't you give us a little history about Lee, where you live, what you do, and how you got into politics. Lee, let's see. So you're running against the incumbent.
That's right.
Tell us.
In Fairway, in Ward 1. So, let's see, I moved to Kansas City about a little over 18 years ago. That's when we met, when I had a computer situation, and then you kept me going for all this time. Thank you. I moved here to get married my wife, Julianne. We raised a daughter here, Emily. So I've lived in Fairway that entire time. And I'm a small business owner. As Frankie said, I have a small business that helps entrepreneurs launch products and brands, mostly food products, into the retail marketplace. So if you have a recipe or you have a new idea for a product, we'll help you get it into a supermarket or a club store or something like that. So I've been doing that forever. And honestly, how I got into the race, I was talking to neighbors about things that we all deal with in neighborhoods. You know, why'd my electricity go out when the wind was blowing? Or why is there a speed bump on my street and not my neighbor's street? Why does it flood in this particular area every time the rain comes down? What happens when the bridge is closed and we can't get a fire truck in here? You know, just the stuff small cities deal with all the time. And I found myself saying, I don't know. And I don't like I don't know.
I can't sell I don't know.
Right. Exactly.
I can't sell it.
Exactly. After a while, I thought, well, I can't keep saying I don't know. I need to find out what the heck's going on. So the more I started looking into it, I learned a lot about our city government, which is, our city is fairly well run. So I'm not running to change everything, but I am running to make sure that there are more people in Fairway and in Ward 1 don't have this I don't know-itis. I'm big on letting folks be part of the process. And so what happens is if you are not part of the process and you don't know what's going on, then things just take on a life of their own. And then you find out about things later. And that kind of loop can cause things to get really sleepy, and it can also cause surprises when all of a sudden you wake up and something's been done and you hadn't even heard about it, hadn't been asked your opinion about it, and it's just city council doing their thing. So I'm big on information dissemination. I'm big on if there's a problem or an opportunity, we need to jump on it and fix it.
And how do we fix it?
And how do we fix it? That's right. And a lot of times the answer is a lot simpler than you might think. I mean, a lot of times it's just picking up the phone or calling somebody you know. So, you know, if it's an issue with one of the things in Fairway since Houlihan's left, a lot of the businesses are leaving, the doors are shuttering, and everybody says, when are you going to get Houlihan's back? Well, of course, I don't have a magic wand. I can't bring Houlihan's back, and it probably will not be Houlihan's. But I can tell you this, you can pick up the phone and call a few folks and say, hey, we have an issue here. Who do you think I should talk to about maybe having some folks in to take a look at this? And you know, you never know. You're good at this, Frankie. One call leads to another call, leads to another call, and before you know it, something's moving forward. But if you never make that initial call, everybody just sits on their hands and things stay the same.
We worked on a business together that helped homeowners get contractors. I'm not going to get into all that, but it was developed on the basis of I got a guy, and I got a guy. And we were just talking about it. Like the more people I know, the better I can serve you as a realtor. Like I'm going to know someone that's running for or is city council in that area. Let me just call them. I can get the answer to make your journey more smooth. So I concur, and I'm so excited for you. Like it was so interesting. I'm like, wait, you're running for city council? Great. So what makes you unique, and why you?
Well, of course, that's a great question. We do have an incumbent in place, so I do, who's a really nice guy, but I do make points of difference where needed. I do have a strong business background, as you know, and I do think that that'll be an asset on the council. I mean, one of the biggest priorities for a local city council is in budgeting and planning, and I've had years of experience in the largest businesses with Procter & Gamble, medium-sized business. I've owned my own medium-sized business. I now own a small business. So, I've seen balance sheets and long-term plans from the inside out, and I do believe that business acumen will be a big help on the city council. So I think that background's going to help. I'm also a big communicator. One of the things that is lacking, in my opinion, we have two Ward 1 council persons right now, one of whom does a really nice job, and she's a good friend of mine. She's not up for election right now, Kellyanne. And Kellyanne does a really nice job of pushing information out, letting folks know what's going on. And so I think, to your point, who do you call? That was your Frankie on call. Who do I call? Frankie. 24/7, I call Frankie if I have a technology issue. Well, in our case, Kellyanne's done a nice job of people saying, I know Kellyanne on the council, I'll call Kellyanne. But my incumbent's name is, despite the fact that he's been on the council for 4 years, he's just not well known. And so to me, that's a sign that we're not working hard enough to get the name out there so that someone does know, hey, I have a tree that is in the right of way. I just learned that it's no longer the city's responsibility. What the heck? How do I look into why this happened? I'll call Lee or I'll call Kellyanne. But not knowing who to call, then you're just going to get angry about it. You're going to start, firing off emails and this, that,
Move
and the
out of
other
the
thing.
neighborhood.
Right. So really, I think my communication skills will be really important because I really am a people person. I like to meet folks. I like to find out how things connect. And so I do think I'll bring that perspective to the council.
Excellent. I think that knowing you, that just seems like a perfect fit. I have to ask, I know from history, you've not had a social media presence. So are you on social media now? Do you have a Facebook account, LinkedIn account? Do you have a Instagram account that my listeners and the audience can come see what you're doing?
Absolutely. One of the fun things about this whole thing, Frankie, has been the way I approached it was starting with why does this happen or not happen in my community? And then I wanted to learn, how do you run a campaign? How do you become involved in city government? So at my age, I'm in a place where I really just want to learn. I want to learn as much as I can about the process. So I have had to learn, of course, about social media. Yes, I have a Facebook page, Lee Story for a Fairway. That's on Facebook. I have LeeStoryForFairway.com. Lee Story for Fairway at Gmail. Lee Story for Fairway dedicated phone number for constituents. And we do a lot of posting on our social media. If you go check it out on Facebook, we're trying to highlight local issues that have a resonance with our citizens and national issues that also impact Fairway and the surrounding areas. So all of that has been new to me, but that's part of the fun of it is being able to learn something new and turn a new page at my age. And that's been great.
Awesome. And at this point, thus far, not having yet won, I expect that you probably have a pretty good chance, and I'll vote for you. I can. What's the most rewarding part for you, Lee? What are you?
The the most rewarding part is an easy question because the process is Fairway itself and Fairway Ward 1 is a relatively small, tight-knit community. But I thought I knew my neighbors, but it turns out I don't know my neighbors because the most rewarding part has been meeting the neighbors that I don't know. So knocking on doors has been the most fun. Is every door fun? No. But by and large, the majority of the folks, I knock on the door, I say hi, I'm not running with some sort of partisan issue-based campaign.
You just meet neighbors.
Yeah, I think the job, it's a nonpartisan position, a nonpartisan race. I think the job at City Council is just fixing problems, local problems.
So great.
We're not trying to debate
Love it.
the national issues that are hot button issues of the time. We're not trying to figure out is the Electoral College right or wrong. We're just trying to fill potholes, make sure the sewers work, make sure, that the electricity stays on. So my approach is, hi, I'm your neighbor, I'm running. If you vote for me, great. If you don't vote for me, I respect that. Please vote. But I've met so many really cool people, I'll be honest with you. People that have just been so fun to talk to.
People are friendly at the door. Most of the time, people are like,
most of the time.
Yeah, not interested to go, or nobody's super angry or occasionally.
Right. And I'll tell you, the fun thing too is, I thought, I spent a lot of time when I got into this thinking about the issues that would be important to Ward 1. But every time I talk to a new neighbor, there's something new. It's about the wattage of the lighting in our neighborhood. Never thought about it. It's about, there's a tunnel that goes over to the Fairway shops. Maintenance of that tunnel for folks that use it at that end of the neighborhood is important to them. And it's not great, frankly. Our electricity does go off when the wind blows. We live in Kansas. The wind blows a lot. Electricity goes off. There are flooding issues. So the list just goes on and on and on. And every time I meet somebody, they have a different, they have a take on why are the police cars marked the way they are, or who takes care of a certain area along, a shared city street. So just issues that are important to my neighbors that I never thought of. And my goal is, and I make a priority of this, is that if I don't know the answer, I will find out the answer.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That's amazing. I'm focused on, my audience is homeowners or people that want to buy homes. And in Fairway, Westport, Leawood, Prairie Village, doesn't matter, Brookside, I'm here to help. But in what ways and you've already said this, so I really just am looking for maybe a summarization, but how are you bringing a smile to homeowners with the work that you're doing? Well,
this whole issue of home attainability is a hot button topic in our entire area, Johnson County and surrounding area. And it's a tough one, frankly. Fairway has a very small footprint, as you know, predominantly single-family property owners. We are putting up a new active adult apartment complex on Shawnee Mission Parkway. I think that's going to add a different housing type. So
active adult, is it seniors then?
Mostly seniors, and it'll give folks that have lived in Fairway their entire lives, and 40% of our Fairway residents have lived in Fairway over 20 years. Now we have...
That's a stronghold, brother.
It's a lot. And then we have 22% that have lived there less than 5 years. So we have young folks, old folks, and a lot of old folks, at some point don't want to take care of a big property, but they want to stay in Fairway. So where do they go? Well, the options have been limited. So now this apartment complex is going to add up to 400 people to Fairway, increase our population by as much as 10%, and give those folks an opportunity to stay in Fairway. Well, guess what happens? When they move to the apartment complex, then that opens up a property so that someone like you can find a place for a new family to move in. And it's really important for any community to keep recycling new folks into a community. It adds vibrancy.
Transiency is important. It really is.
Right. So I think we've done a nice job with this particular project of trying to promote that kind of availability and find folks a place to age in place in Fairway. And my job will be to continue to look for opportunities, although they're limited in Fairway with our geography, but also to make Fairway a place where people want to live. That's why it's important to me to fill these business occupancies. You know, we don't have a full-service bar restaurant in Fairway at all. So you have to go somewhere else if you want to do that kind of thing. It used to be a nice place for people to congregate, meet, and say hi. And then you have a drink or dinner, and then you go down to the bookstore, or you go down, you know.
Houlihan's.
They have an after.
Used to be Houston's, and then it was Bandera, and then it was Houlihan's, and then it was Houston's, and then it was gone.
But Houlihan's did a nice job there, and I don't think they moved out because the numbers weren't there. It was because of a corporate situation. So we would just want to make sure we bring those folks back so that all the businesses in Fairway are vibrant, they're happy, they're growing, and then that contributes to the tax base. It makes folks that live there happy. They have goods and services that they like to buy. So, you know, you might overlook why it's important to have small, unique local businesses, but they really are, in a way, the backbone of any community. This project of interviewing business owners is about let's do business locally. This is what our communities are all about. And that's why I've got a couple politicians I'm talking to, because it's all about community and small business. And it doesn't take much longer to run down to Hiles 2 in Waldo to get an interesting ornament that, rather than click on Amazon and click through, supporting local businesses. So 100%. And that's about the economic engine, right? That's kind of the next phase of this interview, which is, let's talk about economics. How does the work you're going to do, impact the economic vibrancy of Fairway? Well, I think it does get back to these local businesses and area businesses. So if we can make Fairway as business friendly as possible, really show that the folks that we already have that are business owners, that we support them. And that's easy to do. It's just shaking their hand, asking them what can we do better? What can the city do better to support you? And I'm sure, you know, in any situation, if you ask, you're going to get some responses. So it's getting to know our local businesses. It is linking up with area business owners for these open spots and letting them know that they exist. Why aren't you looking at Fairway for this, that, or the other thing for your small entrepreneurial business? So broadening it out beyond Fairway. And when you fill those vacancies with vibrant local businesses, you increase the tax base substantially for a city like ours. Like I said, we're a very small city, 4,000 people. So when you have 6-8 open storefronts where there's no tax revenue generated, you know, the city can't spend money it doesn't have. So that means we lose a service or an amenity that is important to our residents. So economic vibrancy and vitality is super important.
How can homeowners, other than voting for vote, get out and vote no matter what.
Please.
So other than voting and voting for you and voting for the people that we can count on and trust, how can we jump in and make a difference? How can we give back to the community?
Well, that's a great question. And it gets back to why I'm running once again, because what I see is, for example, in Fairway, we recently had hearings on our budget. And it's open to everybody in the city to show up, all 4 wards. And guess how many people showed up? Zero.
Oh.
0. So on the one hand, you might say, well, it sounds like everybody's really happy. Why show up if you don't have something to, you know, that you feel passionate about, that you want to advocate on behalf of? But I look at it and I say, well, that is part of it. Our mayor's done a really nice job economically of putting the city in good shape. And I don't think that there is a lot of controversy over the budget at this moment. But it also tells me that there's a little bit of a lack of engagement. And I think that stems from folks not knowing, not being brought into the process. And so if you, all of a sudden, if you have an issue, but you feel like, I just hadn't been part of this process for so long, I don't really know what's going on, no one's telling me what's going on, I'm not going to take my time to go down and have that conversation. I'm just going to stay at home and hope it all works out. That I am hoping that I will be able to make a difference in informing folks about what's going on. If you still don't want to show up, that's totally cool with me. I didn't show up for a long, long time. But you shouldn't not show up because you don't know what's going on. That's my platform.
Very good. Communities have a rhythm and a vibe, as we've kind of said. Have you stumbled on any fun and quirky traditions in Fairway that you love, celebrate in, take part in, that make your journey more enjoyable?
Absolutely. Two things come to mind. One is we're just getting ready to have our Fairway Fall Festival, which is coming up on, I think, October 15th. And it's been done every year that I've lived here. So we pick a different street every year. This year it's on Norwood, I believe. And all the kids come out, the police force comes out, the firemen come out, the vendors come out. And it's just an old-timey, charming neighborhood get-together that celebrates being in a small town, knowing your neighbors, and it just has that vibe of a place that you'd like to live. And everybody shows up. Families with children show up, us oldsters show up, and it's just an opportunity to get together. So that's a great tradition. The other one I would say is one of my fondest early memories of moving to Fairway was going to the Shawnee Indian Mission. I don't know if you've been to the Shawnee Indian Mission. It's fantastic.
Is it on Johnson Drive?
It is off Johnson Drive and Shawnee Mission Parkway, right in the northern part of Fairway. It's 13 acres. It is the largest green space in Johnson County, north of 75th Street. Most people don't know that. It's a wonderful little wooded space. It's a step back in time. It used to be a school for mostly indigenous Americans, and there's a lot of history there. It's wonderfully supported by the neighborhood. The city has a role in it, the Kansas Historical Society, the state, the Shawnee Indian Mission Foundation. And you can just go stroll around. They also have a fall festival every year. And, they'll bring folks from the tribes to show, iron making, or, how to shoe a horse, or how to put up a teepee, or just have good food and meet your neighbors and stroll around the grounds. And then there's some really nice historical displays inside that you could kind of learn about the history of the area. Food, they have good food, as I mentioned. So I'd encourage everybody to go check it out. It is really unlike anything in our area, and just a little historical and cultural gem that's tucked away in Fairway, that if you wouldn't know it, you wouldn't stumble on it, but if you try to find it, you'll be pleased.
Okay, tell us what it is again.
It's the Shawnee Indian Mission.
Okay, very good. Do you have a place that you like to go in Fairway for some peace and quiet, other than home, of course?
We have some nice parks. I go to Peterson Park, which is a lovely and well maintained park there in the city, and it's usually has kids running around, and but it's got plenty of quiet space and it's green space. The one thing about Fairway that is important to all of us is making sure that we maintain and enhance our trees and green spaces. Fairway is the city of trees. That's what we're known for. And we have these majestic old tree-lined streets, and we do a nice job of taking care of the limited green spaces. There's an area at the end of State Park Road near our house on Chadwick, across from the Methodist Church, where we have a little garden that's in there, just
like a community garden.
Community garden. And one of the things that is fun about Fairway is everybody almost, it seems, is a dog walker. So you meet your neighbors out walking the dog, you enjoy the trees and the green spaces. And that, to me and to Julianne, is our Zen moment. It's just getting out, walking the dog, and saying hi to everybody.
And you got a new dog.
Annie, new rescue dog.
Right?
She's fantastic.
And so is Julianne happy to be out walking dog again?
She's over the moon. She walks, before I get out of bed in the morning, she's walking the dog. She's back at noon, walks the dog, and then together we walk the dog in the evening. Yeah. So the dog's well walked.
Everybody in the neighborhood knows Julianne.
That's right.
Because she walks the dog. That's
right.
So, and she's very friendly as well and
She loves it.
engaging. I know you don't. Do you caffeinate?
Diet Coke.
Are there any coffee shops that you know of in Fairway?
Sure, Front Range is terrific.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a great little gym, and then we have First Watch, which if you want to have breakfast
Sure.
and go get some coffee. So yeah, those are great little spots in Fairway. Get a cup of coffee and go to Rainy Day Books and grab a book. And,
On the corner.
yep.
Yep.
Just,
If there was a playlist for what you're doing and Fairway, if you could pick a playlist, what would the top 3 songs be?
wow, that's a great question. At my age, I'm stuck in the 70s. So, I'm sure there'd be some Rolling Stones in there. I might throw some Beatles in there. I don't know, maybe a little Jackson Brown. I don't know. You surprised me with that one, but it would be old. That's all I can tell you.
Very good.
It would be throwback.
It's great. I'm a fan of a lot of the same music as well. Lee, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you want to share with a YouTube audience out in the world?
Nope. I just want to thank you all out there for viewing this. It's important to get involved at all levels, I believe. It almost dawned on me one day that it's my turn to do that. And so I've really enjoyed meeting folks out on the trail. Thank you, Frankie, for giving me an opportunity to say hi to everybody. Congratulations on your new career in real estate. I understand you're knocking it out of the park. So keep up the great work, and I'll see you at the next opportunity.
It's great. I'm Frankie Bellucci. I go by Bellucci. I'm with Remax in Prairie Village, Remax Premier. I do anything, Kansas and Missouri. If you need commercial, residential, investment, I'm here to help. I want to make you and your family and your real estate journey much easier and smoother. And I'm plugging into the communities so that I can be the best resource for you as a realtor so that I know where to send you and how to help. If there's a way I can make your journey easier, just let me know. We want you to like and subscribe. There's some buttons down there, thumbs up, suggestions, comments, all those make a difference for us because we're interested in your feedback as well. And, we want to continue to bring you engaging content. I want to bring you engaging content, just like this, another excellent interview. And I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to sit down with you again.
Same here.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
That's it. Ciao.
Thanks, everybody.